Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over the best weaponized vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now I've done a couple videos that are similar to this. I've done one which is the top 5 military vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. I've done parts 1 and 2 of that, and I've also done the top 5 most armored vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. This video though is going to be counting down the top 5 weaponized vehicles. So basically how vehicles are getting added to this list are based on their weaponry, their capabilities offensively with their weaponry, and the armor that they have. Those are the 3 things that we're going to be looking at today to judge where these vehicles actually go on this list. Anyway guys, let's get right into it, starting off with number 5. Alright guys, starting off at number 5, we have the Night Shark. Now the Night Shark is an absolutely great vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online, and I would highly recommend it to anyone to just pick up and have, because it's so armored and it's very quick. It's got a lot of good things to go with it. On this list, however, we're counting down the best weaponized vehicles, and unfortunately, the only weapon that the Night Shark has are the front-mounted machine guns. Obviously, if you don't have window plating on it, you can throw sticky bombs and stuff out of it, but that doesn't really count because you can do that out of pretty much any vehicle. So we're just going to be judging, based off of the actual weapons that the vehicle has itself. So like I mentioned, the Night Shark is one of the most armored and one of the quickest armored vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. That is why it made it onto this list, because the machine guns on it are honestly piss weak. They kind of suck. But it does have really good armor and it is really fast, which means it can kind of outperform some other vehicles that might be a little more armored or that might have a little bit better weaponry, because it's so agile. You can get out of the way really quickly, you can move around a lot, you're really well protected inside of it, which all give it an advantage over vehicles that say have really good weaponry but are really slow. It is at number 5 though, because it just doesn't have very good weaponry. Anyway guys, that's pretty much it for the Night Shark. Let's move right into number 4. Alright guys, next up at number 4 we have the Half Track. Now the Half Track is a very good vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online. Really its only downside is that it is quite slow, but other than that it is a very powerful vehicle. Starting off with the Half Track, the driver and the passenger can both not be killed from outside of the vehicle. For some reason there's a glitch with the front windows and with the side windows on this thing where you can't actually shoot through them. Despite me breaking the glass, the bullets are not actually entering the vehicle, so when you're inside of this thing in the cab, you are basically invincible unless the entire vehicle blows up, which is very good. Also with the Half Track, the driver has control over a proximity mine dropper on the rear of the vehicle, so if somebody's chasing you, you can drop proximity mines and hopefully they'll hit them and blow up. So that's a very good feature as well with this thing. And not only that, but of course on the rear of the vehicle, we have the mounted flak cannon. You can also make this thing a quadruple cannon if you so choose. I've only got 2 on mine, but you can make it 4. These guns are extremely powerful. They can destroy a vehicle very quickly, I'd say in under 3 seconds, as long as you are hitting it constantly. They are extremely powerful, and the cannon itself just basically makes this thing extremely good in combat. Pair that with the fact that the driver and the passenger, if there is one, are invincible inside of the thing unless the entire thing blows up. With the proximity mine dropper, this thing is one hell of an offensive vehicle, while protecting the driver and the passenger extremely well. The only problem with this thing is that the gunner is quite exposed, and like I said before, it is extremely slow. But to make up for that, it does have the tracks on it, of course, so it can traverse hills that are extremely steep quite easily. Anyway guys, I think that's pretty much it for number 4. Let's move right into number 3. Alright guys, next up at number 3 we have the APC. Now the APC is a very good vehicle. It has really strong offensive weaponry, like the main cannon, as you guys can see right there, that is controlled by the passenger. The APC also has side-mounted machine guns that the back passengers can control. They basically shoot out of this little hole right here, and they're not very good, but they are a pretty good offensive weapon, especially if you're trying to defend this thing. Overall, offensively, the APC is a very powerful vehicle. The only thing that it suffers from is that it is very slow, but it does have some things to make up for that. The only things that the APC suffers from are that it is very slow and the armor is not all that good. This thing can take about 4 to 5 RPGs. It depends where you get hit. If you get hit in the back, you're going to die a little bit quicker. If you get hit in the front, you can survive a little bit longer. Regardless, it can't take that many rockets, which kind of sucks. The APC does have another redeeming factor though, and that is, of course, it is actually an aquatic vehicle. So you can drive this thing straight into the water and you can just use it like it's a boat, which on occasion is actually very handy. If you're going up against a Kasatka or something like that, the APC is a decent vehicle to use. I would still probably take a Toreador over it, but you know, it's a pretty good vehicle regardless of anything. It's not very fast in the water, it's not very fast on land, but on either, it is still a very good offensive vehicle, that's for sure. Anyway guys, that's pretty much all I've got about the APC. Let's move right into number 2. Alright guys, at number 2 I have the Insurgent Pickup Custom. This is my personal favorite vehicle of all of the ones on this list. I use this thing all the time. If you watch my PvP videos, you have probably seen me using this thing. I absolutely love it. Now the Insurgent Pickup Custom is one of the most armored vehicles in the game. It's actually tied with the Night Shark, and I think it can actually take more damage than the half track as well. I have heavy armor plating on mine here, which makes it very hard to shoot through these side windows. They are pretty well protected, as well as the front windows. And with the heavy armor, the gunner is also pretty well protected. As you can see, there's a shield almost all the way around the gun, making it a lot harder to shoot the gunner off of it, as opposed to having low armor or medium on it. Now the Insurgent Pickup Custom, obviously like I just mentioned, has the top mounted machine gun, which is very, very good. It can destroy cars in about 3 seconds, I would say. And if you got somebody who knows what they're doing, it can be very, very powerful against even the most overpowered vehicles like the Oppressor Mark II. If you can hit your shots, people are gonna die, that's for sure. In addition to that, the Insurgent Pickup Custom also has a proximity mine dropper on the rear of it that is controlled by the driver, so if you're getting chased around, you can always drop a proximity mine and there's a good chance that somebody behind you is going to hit it. I've done it a lot of times. I continue to do it a lot. Every time that somebody tries to grief me in Grand Theft Auto, just drop proximity mines and usually they will end up hitting them and actually dying. Not only that, but the Insurgent Pickup Custom is also a very, very fast vehicle. It's a good off-roader, and it is a absolute battering ram when you are driving it. If any cars or trucks get in your way pretty much when you're chasing somebody or when you're getting chased, you're gonna launch whatever is in your way out of your way very, very quickly with the Insurgent Pickup Custom because it is just such a heavy vehicle. Anyway guys, that's pretty much all I've got to say about the Insurgent Pickup Custom. It's a great vehicle. I would highly, highly recommend picking it up if you don't have one already. With all that being said, let's get right into number 1. Alright guys, at number 1 we have the Conjolli. Now the Conjolli has one drawback, which I'm going to start with, and that is that it is not super armored. It can take between, I would say, 4 and 6 RPGs to kill it, depending on where you're hitting it. If you're hitting it in the rear, it's going to die a little bit quicker. If you're hitting it in the front, it can survive a little bit longer. And these sides, it can survive, you know, better than the back, but not as good as the front. Now that that's out of the way, the Conjolli is probably the best offensive ground vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online. The gunner has access to obviously the main cannon on the vehicle, which you can equip with a regular cannon or like I have with the railgun. Now the railgun allows you to do a charged up shot, which can actually shoot a little tiny bit further than the regular cannon can, which does come in handy every once in a while. The secondary passenger has access to the mounted 50 caliber machine gun on the top of the Conjolli, which is a very, very powerful weapon. Really good for taking out aircraft especially. Very good for that. Also obviously good for ground targets like, you know, cars or just people on the street. It's very, very powerful. For the final 2 passengers, they get access to the dual side-mounted grenade launcher turrets. As you guys can see, both of those are right there. You can shoot grenades out of these like you can with the grenade launcher that you can hold in your hands in Grand Theft Auto Online. These are very good. They could be a lot better. They're definitely not like the greatest weapon ever. I would definitely take the cannon or the machine gun over them. But if you can manage to get 4 people in your Conjolli, they can definitely do some damage, that's for sure. Overall, the Conjolli is just the most offensively capable vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online. Unfortunately, the armor is not as good as it could be, but it is still great nonetheless, don't get me wrong. It is of course tracked as well, which means it can travel uphill very, very quickly. I obviously climbed up this hill and it's pretty steep. I actually climbed up this side of it. The only other drawback with the conjolli is obviously it is a tank, so it's not going to be the fastest vehicle on Earth. It is pretty slow. Having to travel like across the map with this thing is definitely going to be a pretty painful experience. If you're planning on using the conjolli, I would definitely go in a vehicle that is a little bit lighter, that's a little bit faster. Get in, then despawn it, then call the conjolli and use it in the area where the people that you're trying to fight are actually at. So there you have it, guys. Those are the top 5 best weaponized vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. Let me know what you thought of my list. Let me know if you think I missed any vehicles down below in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. And I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.